3. We are live.
I think we are. Yeah, it definitely says that we are live. Let's wait a couple of minutes for more
Sure.
people to join us. Yeah, we're starting to get some people in.
Yes, people are joining in.
Yeah, welcome
Please.
everyone.
By the way, uh, you're joining us for the webinar after a long time. We were so welcome back again.
Thank you. Long 2 weeks. Well, time is relative, so 2 weeks is not that long, but we had some great webinars before, right? So we had Alex talk about CI and autonomous agents, and then we have Leon last week talking about multi repos. And for everyone who's just joining now, all of these webinars, including this one, we are basically recording them. I mean, they're being recorded in real time, so you can always access them on our YouTube, on our LinkedIn. They're also on our webinars page on our Zencoder page. So if you want, Shantanu, at some point, you can just share a link. So if people have missed maybe some of those that we did before, you are very welcome to watch them. Yeah, that's the one. So you can go ahead and see what we did before, and we have a lot of interesting topics coming up. We will not spoil it right now, but Shantanu will probably be posting some of those things on LinkedIn and on YouTube in the coming hours or day or so.
Yeah.
So we will be looking forward to welcoming you on them as well during this summer and beyond as well.
Yeah, awesome. I think people are joining in. Do you want to give like a minute or so, or should we just
Sure,
start?
sure. We can wait like a additional minute, and then we can start. But it should be fun. So today we're planning actually to show you how to use Zencoder and Java in some enterprises, in some enterprise use cases. So hopefully it turns out to be useful. Um, I'd encourage everyone, as you always do, to post their questions either on YouTube or LinkedIn or wherever it is that you are watching us from. And we are streaming. I see these sources here. We are on X, we
Yes.
are on YouTube, and
X,
we're on LinkedIn. So
LinkedIn.
literally trying to cover it everywhere. Yeah. Okay, I think we could maybe start now. We have
Yep.
already people who have joined, so just let's go.
Awesome.
Let's do it.
Awesome. Perfect. Thank you so much, Vibha, for joining in once again. And I'm super excited for this one today. It's one of the most interesting topics, which is Java for enterprises. So, hi, hello, good morning, good evening from wherever you're joining in. My name is Shantanu, and welcome back again to yet another weekly webinar. We have Vibor. Welcome back, Vibor, back again at the desk. So, Vibor will be walking you through on how to tune Zencoder specifically for Java enterprises. As you know, Java is mostly used by enterprise shops and how versatile it is. So, from understanding the code base to generating test cases to even using multiple repository search, everything at once can be easily done using Zencoder. So to do that, Vibor, the stage is all yours.
Yeah. Thanks, Anthony. Thanks for the intro. Welcome everyone to another webinar, as we said, and as Shantanu said. So my idea today is to show you how Zencoder interacts and how you can use it for different enterprise use cases or business cases, primarily using Java. For that, I will spend most of my day today, or most of my time today, with this on this webinar with you guys in IntelliJ. And I will show you the things that we are trying to build. I will also show you some of the resources. Later on, I will also invite you to join our Slack and Discord communities, where you can also ask us any follow-up questions. What I would very much encourage you to do so during this presentation and webinar itself, feel free to ask questions. They could be related to the topic of this webinar, like Java and enterprises, but you can also tell us, ask us more about pretty much anything Zencoder related. And with that, let me quickly share my screen, and I will also start by maybe giving you like a super quick update of the couple of things that we released very recently. And I will also be demoing and showcasing a bunch of them during the webinar today. So 1 second till I get all this set up. Shantanu, I will rely on you to be my eyes because I'll be in full screen and I have no idea what's going in the background.
Sure.
So feel free to keep me honest and tell me, if I'm missing something or someone asking any questions.
Okay, there you go.
All right.
Awesome.
All right. I'm assuming you can see my IntelliJ idea now, right?
Yes, we can see the screen.
Yeah. Okay. Awesome. So, couple of things. Maybe I can start with a little bit of housekeeping. So, what we released very recently. So, Zencoder now on specific plans. So, basically, on users who are on our core advanced and these new plans, not the legacy ones, have access to our new model selector. So, the selection of models that you have access to is different, as I said, based on your plans. But what's common to them is that they are now easily accessible through this selector here. So in addition to different agents that we have, so you can see that we have our old and trusty code agent and we have a bunch of our custom agents here. We've renamed our Q&A agent to Ask because it's now, we believe it better reflects of what this agent does. And I will show it to you at work in this demo. Basically, Ask agent, or our previous, as I said, Q&A agent, allows you to ask really quick questions without requiring you to make some changes to the code base. So you might want to go ahead and ask it, what's this file about, or tell me more details about this repository. It can also be used, and we see that quite often for planning sessions. So you might ask it, hey, tell me more about technologies used here, how would you go about it, and so on. So that's one of the changes. So we have a different agents here. Previously, we used to access agent by using the slash command. Now we made a change, so agents are now accessed using command and the dot, as you can see here, or control and dot. I believe it would be a shortcut in Windows. And regarding the models that I was telling you about, so they are applicable, they're selectable here. I have a little bit larger selection of models because we are running some of the demos internally. But what's really nice, we have support for GPT-5. So since pretty much the day one, so less than 24 hours after it's been released, GPT-5 has been uh, readily available to all our users, as I said, on specific plans. Always you can go and check. We have documentation about the models on our docs. We're keeping them up to date, so you can always see, which models are available on which docs, on which plans themselves. So yeah, those would be, I would say, maybe the two more visible changes that we've made. Um, Another thing, and I will demo it here, and it was already released some time ago, is our multi-repo search. What multi-repo search or multi-repo indexing does, it allows you, for example, to add and index repositories and then use them from the existing ones. So, for example, in the case of this relatively large project called the Geo Network that I'll be using for today's demo, I could reference some external multiple repos, some external repos, and tell it, hey, I would like to know, how did we implement authentication maybe in some other repository, and use that same pattern here. So that is basically how multi repos work. I will say, as I said, I will share a little bit more about them as we go along. I said that I will show you basically how you start from scratch. So to install Zencoder is an extension. As I said, today I will spend most of my time in IntelliJ IDEA because we'll be showing some of the Java use cases and Java projects here. But generally, you can always go to settings and plugins, and then under the marketplace, just type and search for Zencoder, and there you go. You're going to be able to see it. The latest version is 2.10.2. I encourage everyone to always upgrade to the latest version of Zencoder because they always include major changes or hot fixes or stability improvements. So go ahead and use it. One additional thing that I would like to say as well is that while I'm showing this in IntelliJ and focusing on Java today with some of the use cases, talking about the custom agents and so on, Zencoder is an extension that lives in VS Code as well. So I have my Visual Studio Code open here, basically our plans and our docs. uh, pretty much the same experience, same chat, same user experience, and all the features are available in VS Code as well. So we always try to maintain and keep this feature parity between the main IDEs that we are supporting. And when I'm talking about JetBrains, although as I said, I'm focusing on IntelliJ today, Zencoder is used widely in PyCharm, PHP Storm, WebStorm, Rider, pretty much anything and everything. We try to support developers and engineers where they already are without forcing them or forcing you guys to relearn or download or use some additional IDs. So with that housekeeping out of place, let me go into some demo. So what I have here is a relatively large code base. As you can see here, it has a lot of different components, and what powers is encoder, and one of the key features and something that sets us apart is our deep contextual understanding, right? So especially when working with large code bases, maybe even legacy code bases or across multiple repositories, having this contextual understanding of what this repo is all about can make all the difference. We've seen use cases, for example, where someone comes, it might be their first day at work or they're just joining the new team and they got thrown in a large project and say like, hey, can you figure out how to make some changes with this project or what this project is all about. Now, reading through all the readme files and trying to go through documentation is a valid approach, but I think one of the better approaches or one of the more convenient approaches is just to use repo grokking that Zencoder is really good at. So what I'm going to do exactly that. So I'm just going to check here. Which model should we use? Let's play with GPT-5 since it's released, and if something goes wrong, it also gives us an opportunity to gather some feedback. So what I'm going to do the following. Tell me more about this repository, and if you can also lay out different architecture styles and layers that are used here, give me a solid understanding of what this repo can do and its architecture. So what I did here, I did a little trick. Basically, I just dictated this because I don't want to spend too much time typing. And our coding agent, what's actually going to do now, it is going to do a lot of research in the background. So as I shared with you moments ago, you could see there's a bunch of files, bunch of folders, different projects, and you can even see this thinking UI that we recently introduced. You can collapse it if it's not something that you want to look at, but sometimes it might be interesting for you, or if you're just curious to see how model in the background is thinking about the task that you've given it. So it will try to figure out, hey, if some useful information are located in README MD files. Yeah, it's checking README, checking overview. What is also pretty interesting is that even if your project does not have an in-depth documentation about, I don't know, maybe you might not have README files or you've just started your project and so on. What is really kind of cool is that Zencoder will try to infer and build that understanding of your files, folders, dependencies, even if you don't have this, prepared or human written documentation ahead of time. So now, one caveat, this might take a little while because it's going to look through, as I said, the different directories. It will try to understand all those relations. And just for a quick reference, as I said, this is a really large, relatively complex Java repo. So it might take a moment for it to figure out, what is this all about? But we are talking here about minutes, and putting this in a context of a human that would need to go through all this, we would probably talking about hours, if not even days, to have this thorough understanding of the repository itself. So now, while I am waiting for Zencoder to build this for me and basically figure out and prepare this report, I wanted to talk about a couple of use cases that we've seen people using this in, right? So one of the use cases is, as I said, you might have a new colleague or you just joined a new team, or you have been assigned a new project that you need to build an understanding around it. So starting with a really simple query like, hey, tell me more about this repo, help me understand it, is something that can help you build that understanding much faster than it would generally take you if you were to do just all of this research on your own. We've also seen it in use cases where, for example, junior developers are trying to get some face time with some of their mentors. So instead of spending time asking maybe some relatively trivial questions, they could already come well prepared and understand with the understanding of the code base and then the repository itself, and ask more in-depth questions. So yeah, as we can see here, it has actually created this summary for me. So GeoNetwork is an open source geospatial catalog. It lists out different features. It lists out even capabilities, module map with components. It's still working on it. So there's, as I said, it's quite complex. So it has a lot of them. Architectural styles used. So as I said, while I was talking about this, it did this thorough research and started creating this little report for me. It even tells me like, okay, for the UI we are using Angular and web archive packaging. Business core uses like Beans with the data manager, Elasticsearch manager, and so on. How it's wired, it also, as I said, goes into those details. So it can be almost as your sidekick or your peer programmer or peer developer, helping you understand even complex architectures like this one here. Now, as I said, we always try to position the Zencoder as something that's really for production level quality work. Asking this prompt on a very simple, I don't know, task management application is meaningful, but where it really shines is where you have more complex use cases, where you have really complex architectural patterns, and trying to get a sense of it. So as you can see here, it tells me, oh, if you want, I can generate a diagram of module dependencies. You know what? Let's actually ask it to do that, just to visualize all it did for us. Yeah, let's go and generate a diagram of the module dependencies. As you suggested, you can use simple ASCII characters just for us to have an understanding of how it all fits together. So this is something that we like to do. If you want to need to do like a quick visualization, you can go with a simple way and tell it, use the ASCII characters. So you will see it built in here. But there is also an entire tutorial that we wrote on our docs. Shantanu, if you are able to find it and maybe just paste the link to it. So for some architects, for some use cases, you might want to be a little bit more you might want to go a little bit more in depth, and instead of just doing ASCII characters, you can go ahead and ask it to generate a mermaid diagram. Maybe I'll actually do that. I'll stop this demo here, and in one of the sections, in one of the custom coding agents that I'll show you how to build, I will actually show you how to build a mermaid diagram. So for you who might not be not familiar with it, mermaid diagram will generally contain more details about the mutual relations and have you build this entire understanding of the code repository itself. You can then use a bunch of different mermaid tools and viewers available, pretty much whatever would help you get the most out of your project and understanding of it. The next thing I wanted to show you is an extremely powerful feature that Zencoder comes with, and that's our custom agents. So custom agents basically allow you to take any more or less repeatable work, or if you have some very specific use cases that you would like them to be shared across the organization. You might have a very specific code reviewing style, or you might have a very specific documentation style. So instead of writing and rewriting prompts all over again, you can encapsulate that logic. You can scope that logic into a custom agent that they can be even shared with your entire team. So by default, Zencoder comes with a bunch of agents on its own, a repo info agent, unit test, end-to-end code. But you can also create your own custom agents. We have a bunch of them here at Zencoder, as you can see. Ones that are shared within the organization have this org pill, and you can create your own custom agent by clicking the Create Agent button, giving it a name. And this is pretty interesting and important for enterprise cases, right? You can share it with different people. You can share it across the entire organization. So for example, as I said, you might have a code review agent following your best practices. You can share it with as an organizational wide. So it's accessible to everyone. Alias is pretty much a command. How do you like to use it, providing it instructions and different tools. However, I also want to encourage you to use our library. So we have a library of agents. So if you don't know how to start, maybe you can use some of the prepared ones. So what I'm going to do, I will use this code optimizer agent. I will actually, yeah, I would like to use this one. It's called OptiCoder. It's a code optimizer 1, because we already have something like it. So I'll click add. I will just rename it a little bit to code optimizer Java. For now, let's keep it personal here, code optimizer Java. And it says, hey, you're an OptiCoder, highly skilled software engineer. So this one is an agent that would actually help me review and optimize code for some of my files. What I'm going to do here, I'll just tell you're a highly skilled Java software engineer, just to give it a little bit more of a context. Another thing that I could have done is, for example, use the Zencoder to help me create these instructions, right? So for now, I'll just go and save this one. So you can see it's called Code Optimizer Java, save, and now that one should be visible here. Hopefully it's here. Do we see it? Commit coding. Okay, Code Optimizer Java, right? It's here. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to run that one on this GeoNetwork Java file. This is a relatively large file, so probably has some opportunities for optimization. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to change it to my code optimizer. So I'll just find it here. Manual apply is fine. Let it use the existing agent, and I will just ask it to use this GeoNetwork Java file. Okay, so this is going to what this is going to do is, as you can see here, code optimizer Java initializing agent. So this agent should now go and run on top of my file here. So this can sometimes take a little bit while, but generally you have this large ability, you have this really broad ability to use different agents that you can run on top of your files. And generally what they will do, they will also create suggestions, file changes for you. Maybe while it's working on this, I can show you a previous run just for the sake of time. Let me go to recent chats. I think I ran it here. Yeah, so I run this code optimizer here with GeoNetwork Java. So what it did for me, it provided a thorough analysis of the current code. It says, okay, this is a monolithic application handler, figured out all of the details that are relevant. And then I asked it, can you create this optimized solution for me? And it did. Yeah, one of the things, it's a minor one, but it actually improves the user experience. We had people asking about, when these code blocks in our chat, they used to be quite tall. Now they are, semi-collapsed, so you can always expand them if you need more details, or you can collapse them, so it's easier for you to navigate and see what's being changed here. And yeah, there you go. It optimized the different. It optimized this file for me. It created the multiple files, each of them, with specific logic, as you can see here, all of the files that it created for me. And I told him, okay, you broke this into 4 different files, basically 3. One of them is Markdown, as you can see here. But I told it, okay, this is nice, but I would like you to use that ASCII diagram, as I mentioned to you guys before, just for me to understand that these new files that it did, like the refactoring that it did, how it all fits together. So I'll expand this a little bit more just for you to see. So this was the original architecture. It was a file with 577 lines. I think that's literally the ones that we're looking here on the side, with all the logic, with everything that's been assigned to it. And it listed out the problems, like sequential execution, how much time it might take. It's hard to test because it's like a monolithic methods, and it's a relatively large file. And then what it did, obviously I need to expand this a little bit more. It created this optimized GeoNetwork architecture for me, right? So it created different main classes, a couple of utility classes, even a test suite. And it built this really nicely looking diagram showing me, mutual relations between them and benefits. So obviously with this refactor, it says, it should improve startup times by, almost 2/3 or 3/4 of it, which is really nice, creates the documentation for me. Then I went into and, asked it, can you create this interaction flow for me to understand it a little bit better? It did all of these things for me, which I think is quite amazing. I was, kind of conscious, like, will this just work if I just apply those files? And it says, yes, with the strategic approach, you can do, direct replacement, which is recommended, but it also suggested maybe a gradual migration for me. So yeah, I did a really, really good job here for myself, which I like a lot. One of the other things that I would like to show you also is, that are being that we are always, I would say, seeing or noticing is testing, right? So in many cases, in enterprise scenarios, and you want to create test use cases, right? So what sets Zencoder apart, maybe compared to some other solutions, is, as I said, our really deep and thorough understanding of different use case on of the code base itself. So, for example, if I want to just create some unit tests for this public class, I could use this code lens called unit test. So I can just click here, and you will see that it started a new chat now. You can see here that the agent selector is now shows it as a unit test, and unit test agent is being kicked off. So what is going to happen now? It will try to understand if there are any Java test files in the core module. Uh, in general, Zencoder will try to create, as I said, unit test or any other test using the existing infrastructure, using the existing testing patterns. So if you already have some testing directories, it will try to actually use them or reuse those frameworks for your tests. It will not just throw it anywhere. I can maybe show if I go here to project. So this is the file that I have currently open here. I'm trying to make some tests to it. It already has some tests in this test directory. So I'm curious if my unit testing agent that was working out in the background will suggest creating something in this directory. So let's give it a second. It says, okay, as you can see here, tests should go to, it understood that, there is test, Java, org, GeoNetwork, HTTP, and class set is set here. So this is, class to test is actually this one here. So it already knows where actually it wants to create them. What is really nice with Zencoder is that you have this visual representation of the testing scenarios that you'd like to run. So I will say, yeah, let's do these. Any of them can be changed. You can just click on this pencil icon and share and change it. You can also add custom scenarios. But what's pretty nice is that you can also always follow up with them. So you can keep asking Zencoder to add more tests, keep asking Zencoder to change some existing tests. So let's just wait for it for a second to figure out what it's going to do. One of the questions that we've gotten before, and we can maybe even have an more in-depth webinar around the testing down the road, is it possible for Zencoder to tell it to use different testing frameworks? The answer is yes, right? So it will check, for example, in pom.xml, it will figure out if you have some dependencies for specific testing frameworks, and then you can tell it, hey, I would like it to use testng, I would like it to use NUnit test, or whatever it is that you're currently using. You can always nudge Zencoder to use that existing framework. So you don't have to, it will not just pop up some new testing cases using some testing framework that you don't usually have in your project. So you have that flexibility, and you can affect those changes on your own. So here, as you can see, yeah, it says it's using Mockito. It is running diagnostic to verify the test code is valid. That's our agentic pipeline network in the background. You can see here that it created this test file for me. I'll just let it finish this process. Or basically what I can do, I can expand this one so you can see everything that it did. Yeah, it decided to go with Mockito as a framework because that's something that we very likely have in this project, but I could have easily nudged it to go and do something else. While it is working on this, Shantanu, do we have any questions, something that people want to have answered while Zencoder is building these tests and working for me?
No, I don't see any major questions as such. It's just mostly the
Mhm.
greetings and hi hellos.
Okay, awesome. So I can just then quickly show
Yeah.
how this looks like side by side here. Now you can see how it generated this testing version for myself. And then, of course, you can run those tests. You can make them, be a part of your CI/CD or testing pipelines, whatever it is that you'd like to do. As you can see here, right, it's offering me an opportunity to actually run this. But I see that we are, coming short on time, and I still want to show you one more thing. So I will skip this part. Um, this was this relatively large Java repo. I would also like to show you another one That is not that huge, but it is a project that we've built. It's a it's a Spring application. It's just a simple task management app. So basically what I can do, I can go and say, um, tell me very briefly what this app is all about and how I can run it with skipping tests. So Zencoder will now again figure out, what I have here. As I said, this is way, way, way less complex code repository than the one that I was showing you moments ago. But I want to try and show you how we can run another types of tests that are quite common in enterprise sectors. And those are the end-to-end tests. So Zencoder comes, as I said, with a number of different agents, and those agents include coding agent, they also include unit testing agent, they include end-to-end agent. And let me show you, for example, yeah, exactly. This is the output of it. So as you tell me in great detail about this repo, how can I go ahead and run it? It did some research for me, checked it all for me, and gave me a command, even project structure. And here's how I can run it. So it says, navigate to project directory, clean install. But if I want to skip test, I can just do this. So let me actually try that. We have this nice integration of our tests. Oh, sorry, of our terminal bash command. So I'll just hit here, run in terminal. With a little luck, everything should be working fine. Sample data initialized. Okay, now this should be running on localhost 8080. So if I go to localhost 8080, I should see this beauty of a design that I vibe coded. So task, run a demo and don't crash anything. I will not give it this. Okay, just something like that. Status to do, in progress, add task. It's now visible here. I can also mark it complete because we actually did this and we didn't really crash anything, so that was good. But what I want to do is now the following. Let's say I want to build end-to-end tests, and I have my project and I have my app running here. So I will like our Zencoder to build me a test, end-to-end test where it would add, for example, one of these tasks and create a script. Then I can, run as a part of my CI/CD pipeline or my testing pipeline, whatever it is that I wanted to do. So what I'm going to do, I am going to start a new chat. I will switch to our end-to-end testing agent, and I will tell it the following. Hey, I have an app running on localhost 8080. I would like you to build me an end-to-end test using Playwright, and I would like you to, in that test case, to create a new task, and that task should be run and create end-to-end test for a demo. Can you do this for me? So now what is going to happen, it will actually, my end-to-end testing agent, you can see again this thinking block. It will help me create this end-to-end test using Playwright. It detected the target framework. It says that there's already some testing directory and a package JSON, but I did not tell it, which URL it should hit, exactly how it should do it. It should figure it out on its own. One thing that I want to bring to your attention here, we have this it's Playwright and Cypress are mentioned here, right? So our end-to-end testing agent is framework agnostic. So again, just like in the case of unit test, you can tell it that you want it to build cases in Playwright. You can tell it to build cases in Cypress. You can even tell it to build cases or tests in Selenium, basically based on which framework are you using. It should be able to build them for you. So if I go here, it used in the background, it says, okay, browser navigate. I can see the application running, fill in the title field, fill in the description field. It says it's been filled out correctly. Let me click add task. And with a little luck, we should actually have this task now added there. So while it's creating this script, let me check if that's the case. I will refresh it. And there we go. Our end-to-end demo task is being here, and it says, it's set up in progress. So this is, as I said, relatively simple case. But now, for example, if I want to add more features or more, changes to this code base, I can always, have this reassurance that there is this entire test case that's been covered for me that I can always run it as a part of my workflow, even when I'm adding new features, to be sure that I'm not shipping just vibes, but that I'm actually shipping real working testable code that should pretty much address most common use cases in the enterprise scenarios. And with this, we are basically pretty much ran out of the time, but that's fine because I pretty much showed exactly what I wanted to do. So just a quick recap, right? So what we try to do with Zencoder or at Zencoder at every time is to cover the majority of the entirety of the software development lifecycle for enterprises or for professional developers, meaning, from testing that we showed here, from using custom agents, for having a really in-depth understanding of the code base, and our coding agent is not limited just to it's not limited just, for example, to working with a single or monolingual repos. If you want to use it for multiple repositories that are written in different programming languages, polyglot repos in a way, it should work perfectly fine. I think we support somewhere around 70, maybe even 80 different programming languages, so you should be good to go and cover majority of your enterprise use cases. So yeah, with this, I'm pretty much done. Shantanu, I don't know, as I said, if we have any questions in the meantime, I'd be happy to take them. Uh, in addition to this, I would like to invite you to join our Discord and our Slack, where you can get in touch with us. There's a bunch of us from the team, including teams from people from engineering, from product, us from community and DevRel. We'd be happy to answer your questions. Talking about questions, Shantanu, did we get any, or we pretty much covered it all here?
I think we pretty much covered all. I don't see any major questions. It's just greetings, hi, hellos in the chat.
Okay.
So yeah, and I think there's one compliment. There you go. I just brought it up on the screen.
Okay, thank you. And I also see some familiar faces. I see Yartian from Fuje community, from awesome
Yeah.
Java community that we're also part of. So thanks for joining. It is really awesome to have you and everyone else. Yeah, that's Yartian. I hope I'm not massacring your names and pronouncing it relatively normally. So thanks for joining. Thanks everyone for joining, and I hope to see you in the next sessions. And as I said, if you'll have any suggestions and idea what you would like us to cover next related to Java, to enterprises, let us know. The team is open for your suggestions, and obviously super happy to do it for you.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Vibor. I think this was super amazing. So you guys can
Thank you,
check the
guys.
recording out on YouTube, and then yeah, that's it. Thank you so much for joining in. See you again next week.
See ya. Take care.
Bye. Bye.